you just mentioned, you're working with these people who have a bunch of different mental health issues and stuff. You mentioned to me when we were discussing this earlier, you were talking about how that has affected your own mental health.
Well, I've been in like the social work field for a very long time, and I would say that mostly when I was working with kids with disabilities, with intense autism, they tend to have a lot of extreme behaviors. Not all of them, and I love my job. I was coming home and just kind of like not talking to anybody. I would come home from work, stay in there, close the door, go back out in the morning, and go to work. I wasn't enjoying my job.
Yeah,
it had a lot to do with, it's kind of hard to go into a job that you're not really enjoying anymore. I dealt with a lot of like hitting, scratching, fighting, all that sort of stuff, and I wasn't doing the proper self-care that you as a person in the mental health field need to do, because if you don't, you burn out.
Right.
The past couple of years, I hadn't been doing that. So it got to the point where this year, where it was kind of like everything just kind of went down. I started getting in trouble at work. I wasn't doing things the same way as I usually would. I wasn't handling the kids' outburst quick enough as I usually would. I had to drop out of my master's for a couple months. Now it's going to end up being a year because it wasn't working for me. I eventually had to quit my job because it just wasn't working. Like, I would come home, eat, go to bed. That's it. I wasn't really talking to anyone. And then I ended up starting to, like, obviously I don't want to say like drinking heavy, but I was drinking more than I normally would. And you've known me for a long time. I'm not the one to like
no
drink all the time.
Yeah.
But especially, I'll give you an example. Every time I would see you, I was like, yeah, I'm fucking hungover. I was hungover. It was just one of those things where like I wasn't sure how to deal with my emotions or what was going on. School was going bad. That was going bad. I wasn't doing the self-care because we deal with a lot.
Yeah.
Especially with like the kids and like everything that we deal with our work. Like sometimes our clients have bad days and they scream at us. When it comes to kids with autism, sometimes they don't know how to regulate themselves. They start taking it out on you, and then you kind of, it's hard to sometimes not go home and like not feel like you're good enough or I'm doing my job wrong. And just all those negative thoughts, and then you kind of just start going into a spiral out of control.
Mm-hmm.
It was just bad. I probably gained weight over it, started eating more. Obviously, I know more into like the mental health and all that stuff, so I knew something was going on. So that's why I took a year off school and why I quit my job and got new jobs, just to try and change the dynamic of things and change my environment, just to see what would happen.
Right.